We know this is a pivotal moment. We know that the Nevada Film Office is a lot more active and engaged than they've ever been. So big shout out to them for being able to coordinate this as well. I know they've been working so hard to make sure that we are all cohesive and that we have a lot of film locations available on moment's notice. I also want to quickly introduce my colleague, Angelica Villarta from Congresswoman Susie Lee's office. We are both, I think you might have to elaborate a little bit more about this, but we're both on the advisory board as well. And it's also like a bit of a passionate interest for us to be able to be in this space and indirectly support it from the federal level. So handing it off to her.
Absolutely. How about a round of applause for Hector, everyone? Just like Hector had just mentioned, yes, we both Hector and I are on the advisory council for LVMFI. It's how we started getting really engaged with what LVMFI is doing. We truly believe in their purpose and what they're going to accomplish and what they have accomplished, and so that commitment is there wholeheartedly. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my remarks. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Having called Las Vegas for over 3 decades, I've watched our city grow from really a destination where people come to being a community where people identify with. So over the years, I've had the privilege of working alongside artists, entrepreneurs, educators, first responders, community leaders, and advocates whose stories deserve to be seen and heard. And what I've learned is that talent exists everywhere, but the opportunity and the visibility do not always arrive simultaneously or equally. So this is why events like this matter. Film has a unique ability to create visibility. It preserves experiences, challenges perceptions, and inspires action. And it really helps people recognize themselves in stories that may have once felt out of reach or untouchable. And so when people can see themselves in these stories, they begin to see themselves in the future. So since noon today, when we started, we had the fire truck out front, and we all had the opportunity to meet the brave men and women of Las Vegas Fire and Rescue. We got to climb aboard their trucks and hear their experiences and get to know them a little bit more. And those types of experiences were thoughtfully curated by LVMFI and all of the organizers today. And so that is what really is going to make this event matter, and I really look forward to more events like that, where we actually get to participate in the stories that are being told. And so Grit, as you know, is a documentary about resilience, determination, and transformation through one individual's journey. And we're reminded of something much larger, that the power of community, mentorship, and opportunity in the human spirit to overcome adversity lives within each and every one of us. So today we're doing more than just discussing those values, we're experiencing them. And on behalf of Congresswoman Susie Lee, who could not be here today, she wanted to make sure that we were able to recognize each and every one of those individuals who had a part in making this experience happen. And so I'm going to ask my intern, she is currently interning with us, everybody. This is Tori. Thank you. She's going to help with acknowledging and recognizing a lot of those individuals that are with us today. And we would like you please to come over to the front real quick and we'll do a quick photo. First, I would like to bring Las Vegas Media and Film Institute. That'd be you. And then we have next a Crystal production.
Yeah.
Next is Indie Film Factory.
Yeah.
Wild Part Studio.
Yeah.
We're exactly, wait, triple. Rob Anthony Productions. This is what I'm talking about. We are major hustlers. We do everything, right? I mean, I think each and every one of us wear like 20 hats. Isn't that right, Danette? 5-6 Productions.
Yeah.
11 Media. Las Vegas Display Fireworks.
Nice.
Aztec Studios. Chicano Hollywood.
All right, Johnny.
Johnny. Proactive Visuals. Las Vegas Fire and Rescue. And last but never least, Film Nevada. Thank you. And so I'm going to read these certificates out to you real quickly. It says, these certificates of special congressional recognition are presented to each and every one of you for the Great Film Screening, Workforce Activation, and Industry Summit in recognition of your dedication and contribution to supporting Southern Nevada's film and media ecosystem and for curating engaging community activations during the GRIT Film Screening, Workforce Activation, and Industry Summit. We appreciate and recognize your tireless efforts in organizing and executing this impactful event. So congratulations, signed June 17, 2026 by Congresswoman Susie Lee of Nevada's 3rd Congressional District. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angelica. Thank you so much, Hector, for the recognition from your offices. We are very honored, and thank you very, very much for everybody in attendance. Shout out to BTSLV. Are we live right now? All right, we are live on BTS.
I remember a couple of years ago, some of you were there, we had a little coffee shop meeting. And we came in, Rob had, we had some mutual connections. He used to live in LA way back in the day. Now he's been here for over a decade now. Rob hits me up and hey, how can we get involved? How can we connect? And so we had this coffee shop meeting, and the restaurant was around here somewhere. And there, Anissa came, Brooke came, came, Kim and Danette came, and it just sparked something. I got so excited because I see the infrastructure that's here to create amazing content, production, stories. So what I love is that from that coffee shop meeting to now, to see how it's been swelling up on all the pieces are coming together on how to really put Nevada and Las Vegas on the map as an indie film hub for for productions, And I know you guys are the masters, and we're talking about it at corporate stuff. But all of us have stories that we want to tell. So where we're at now, with the leadership that's in place and everyone involved, we are there's an explosion about to happen. That's what I see. That's my opinion.
I agree with Johnny. I was there that day at the coffee shop meeting, and I think what excites me the most about Nevada is the community we're forming. Because I've lived here since 2005, and when I first moved here, I did not feel a sense of community like I did growing up in the suburbs of Ohio, where kind of everyone knew everyone. But now I feel like community is there. We have come together, we know each other, and we continue to build our network, our resources, our support of each other instead of standing in competition with each other, especially for, like crew members who all kind of do the same jobs. Like we support each other as opposed to, compete against each other. And that sense of community that's forming and building is what excites me the most.
I think in building upon what Kim had just said, not only community, but for me, I've been here so long, I like to see the growth of the community and the individual successes and trajectories. I've seen, UNLV or CSN students graduate and then go on to become union members, and I see them on set, and from our everyday working on what everyone's working on to seeing their successes at film festivals or film showcases, or knowing they premiered at Tribeca or they won Emmy Awards. We just had at the high school college Emmy Awards in Nevada, swept. They're going to go down to San Diego with more nominees from Nevada. So Nevada is growing and getting recognized, and I think that's what sustains me, and my passion is seeing what you guys are all going to do next.
Well, I've been coming here for a lot of years, and I've noticed that we do see a lot more families. Vegas is growing so much. And yes, a lot of the points that I've made here, I will tell you as a filmmaker, there's a lot of us that want to do stories, but let's support each other. So if it's not your story at the time, do your best to support the person that's trying to tell the story at the time, because and just keep getting better at what you're doing. Sorry, because your turn will come, and only together we can build together. And this film was done by 16 people only, an hour film, everything professionally done with some studio, not studio people, we have no backing from the studio, but we have some friends that, hey, I've been working in the studio for a long time, but I'm not getting really recognized for my work. They're giving other people these credits, and I'm putting all the work. And I said, would you be willing to come for a fraction of that money, because we don't have a lot, but believe in the story that we're saying and support us, and I promise as we grow, we will grow together as a community of just minorities, but anybody that wants to work hard, you're only gonna do this as a team, you know? Be happy, don't compete with each other, because at the end of the day, we are all here for the same reason, is to be heard and to hopefully have not only a project that resonates and shows us in these projects, but that we actually can make them universal so that other people, so please, please, please support when, if we do make it to the streamers, we're gonna have Grid first, and Emilio Rivera's world.com on his website, support it, because we help anybody and everybody that we can, and that's why we're here. We're going to different states. We knew we were gonna sell in the fall, but we said, my husband comes from, both of us, humble beginnings. I was also a teen mom, and we said, what do we do at this point? And we said, we're gonna show it for free, you know, protected, that nobody, please videotape it, but we're gonna be here to support each other and to inspire our youth. And I think Vegas is doing a wonderful job. Thank you.
I just want to bring production back to the States, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, for real, you know, and we're close enough to California. You know what I'm saying? So let's bring it back. I did a movie here 30 years ago, Con Air, and we shot all in Nevada. It was beautiful. You know, I'm talking about then we shot in the actual casinos for a few weeks. So we're close to California. We're ready to go overseas. And what happens when you go overseas and film these movies, you can only bring like 10 people because the rest of you got to be local hire. So I can't local hire people from Vegas.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying, brother? It's just it's try to support as much as you can, because I've seen it change so much, and I don't like it. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes even if not even just a co-starring role will have to be a local hire. So that asses me out. You dig what I'm saying? So let's all continue to work, you know, as a team, as a construction, everything. You know, we bring it here. Everybody works here. Let's just try to do that. You know what I'm saying? I love what you guys are doing here, and I want to thank you. I appreciate you for having us here to speak.
But most important, if they don't want to listen to us, we the people make things happen.
We do it anyway.
Together, we do it anyways. Yes.
Thank you so much, you guys. Great answers. We're gonna hold this here, and we're gonna keep going down with the next question. This is specifically about film and storytelling for Yadi and Emilio. So we're gonna be talking about Grit. What was it about the story of Grit that made you believe it was important to bring to life?
Well, me and Louis Tavares, we ran together from the neighborhood, you know. I was the older guy, he was the younger guy, and he looked up to me for being the bad guy. So he wanted to be like me. And then he grew up and became like me. Okay, you'll see the movie tomorrow. Anyway, but the thing is,
Tell the story.
because it's a beautiful story, man. You know, and I'm sure there's many around, but you know, I saw it happen. I saw it go down. I saw when it went down. I was all there. I was there the whole process, and it was just beautiful. And my wife, you know, got married 20 years ago. This happened 22 years ago. And so when she met him, he only has one arm. You know, he has a prosthetic. And she asked me, and then she goes, "Oh, what a wonderful story." And all these years later, we finally were able to do it, and she did a wonderful job with it.
Well, for me, yes, it's a beautiful story, but one that I am sad about a lot of times, that I see that people are always judged by their past mistakes, and nobody sees them for the hard work that they're trying to do when they're changing. And these are two guys that, yes, ran the streets, but I knew had a lot of trauma as a child, and that they were better people, and that they put in the work and did the change, and just not only did wonderful things at a big level, but that both of them always want to come back. My husband, since I met him, and I different backgrounds, I was middle class, but I still went through a lot of trauma. And I always say pain is pain. It doesn't matter what social status you're from, whether you're poor, middle class, or wealthy. Believe it or not, everybody carries some type of pain at one point in their lives. And it's just about, we wanted to tell a story that came from humble beginnings, but we wanted to resonate with everyone and to show that not everybody is a bad person, that second chances are possible, and that because I've seen them, I said this story needs to be told. You have a firefighter here that has no arm, he's missing an arm, and he never gave up, raising 3 kids. And when you see this story, I have not seen yet, and we've done many shows, one person that has not felt a certain way and cried over this. So we want to inspire, and we want to tell our stories authentically the way we know them, and just support these projects. It's usually indies, like I said. I myself as a director, a producer, forget about all those titles. I was putting in 10, 14 hours, even in the editing room, because I needed the story to be told authentically and not changed to the way someone else felt it needed to be seen. It's real.
And you know, like, I've been doing this over 36 years now, and I spend a lot of times, I spend a lot of time trying to help kids that are incarcerated, you know, people that are trying to do what we do, and it's just, I think that's God's why I'm still alive, you know what I'm saying, to pass it forward. That's what you do, man. Whatever God gives you, you pass it forward. You have to pass it forward. It's not for you to keep it. Whatever you learn, you push it on. And that's why we always continue doing this, man, because it makes my heart feel good. You know, it really does. And this story right here, the thing about this, I gotta say this because, you know, it happened so long ago. And me and Widow were like kind of tough guys. Like, you know, we have, besides the exterior, you know, there's, I'm sorry, Widow, okay, we have nicknames in the streets, you know. And Widow's like compared to Green Eyed Chicano. So we, you know, everybody in the audio is gonna be Widow if you're that guy, you know, and he's that guy. Yeah. Louis, his name is Louis Navarez, fire chief, okay? But I know him as Widow, and it's in the film. And the thing is, I forgot what I was trying to say. What did I say?
That's okay. You know what, we can actually just move on, and then we can say about how Grit is inspiring communities and future generations, and we're all excited about seeing the movie tomorrow and inspiring generations, just like the youth group that's in the hallway that we all probably passed by, Chicanos por la Causa, who is a justice-involved youth group, and it fits along with the narrative of what we're trying to change. Okay, and then so we're gonna head on down to the next set of questions here. Johnny, this is for you. We can pass the mic to him. So Johnny, Chicano Hollywood has worked for years to increase Latino representation in entertainment. What opportunities can you see today for Latinos and diverse storytellers in Nevada?
So probably the number one thing that I see is the opportunity for, doesn't matter who, black, brown, white, it doesn't matter, Asian, whatever it is the opportunity for indie filmmakers to own their own properties, right? We all create IPs, everything out there is an IP, you don't know what that means. And right now, the opportunity is, you know, there for us to build our own. So I'm training and I'm telling our producers, I said, create your own content. If you don't know how to write, learn how to write. If you have not worked with a writer, not everybody's a writer, and start doing your own. When it comes to verticals, to me, someone told me, you push verticals a lot. You know, I'm not a fan, believe me. So I don't know if you've seen those things, you know, they're super soap opera, that's not my thing. But I am a fan of opportunity, and when I saw the verticals coming out a couple of years ago, I started diving hard into them because the opportunity that we have as you know, marginalized communities have is that they can start production now. Writers can start getting produced now. When I was presented with the opportunity to write a movie called Horchata with Oat Milk, I remember Jeff Reyes, he hit me up, he says, hey, can you turn these thoughts into a script? And I said, yeah, I'll do it if you promise that you're gonna produce it. Because I've written a lot of stuff, so there's writers, then there's produce writers. And I promise, right? So we got it done, that's where Chicano Hollywood started. But now I went as a writer to a produce writer, but that was with a micro budget feature film. But now with verticals, you could do it even quicker. So the opportunities I see with Chicanos or Latinos or Black, no matter what, is that now is the time to seize the opportunity to get involved in production, produce your own stuff, own your own properties, get all your legal work done right? The days are over when you get just throwing a bunch of oldies into your movie because that's what you feel. That'll never get distributed. You'll never make any money, right? You can't do that. You got to do it right. So I'm very strict on training. Do it right so that you can actually build an enterprise out of it. So the opportunity, to answer your question, has never been greater than now for independent film producers, writers to get involved. And even for actors, I mean, it's just like, there's so much that we can do. So here in Vegas, I'm like, let's get the training going. Like what Emilio said, here, like remember when Sony and all that was trying to happen, right? Hollywood 2.0, right? That was a couple years ago. That didn't work out, and I don't know where it's at now, but that didn't work out. But when people ask me about that, I said, that's the studio level. Indie world is still very, very, very important and about to blow up even more. So to me, I always tell, I tell our head tech community, I said, now's the time, skill yourself and get to work. Basically, get to work. I know a company that they created 50 episodes of a vertical for $3,500. I connected them with my sales agent, and he sold it for them multiple times, and then he got one way back. So $3,500. I'm like, what the heck? Did you feed anybody? But they made it work. So that's the opportunity we have right now.
All right, thank you, Johnny. Thank you. So moving on now with the next question. This is going to be for Film Nevada. To Kim. So Nevada has incredible locations in town. What opportunities do you see for growth within Nevada's film industry over the next 5 years?
I mean, I think it's exactly what Johnny was just talking about. We don't really have a lot of large studio space, so we really cater to on-location filming. And shout out to the City of Las Vegas, one of our partners on this event today, for having free film permits within the City of Las Vegas. As these folks are from LA, they already know just how exorbitant the fees are in terms of film permits, and knowing that you can film for free in the City of Las Vegas, and they are so very helpful. I think Nikki may have stepped out, but she's our city permit liaison here, and she is fantastic. And really all of our community partners are. And I think that's what we can build on in these next 5 years is bringing the community together, the different permitting jurisdictions. It's not just City of Las Vegas, it's Clark County, it's City of Henderson, it's City of North Las Vegas. It's bringing these entities together to understand the industry because, it is a very niche type of business that not everyone understands, especially when production moves so quickly and government doesn't. Making sure that we can build those bridges. That's what Danette and I do is we build those relationships with our local community leaders so that they understand the value of this industry and can help facilitate it coming here. Because when production comes here, they hire local, they spend money with local vendors, they support local small businesses, and that's the greatest impact in my view of this industry is just how much community it takes to produce anything. And I think bringing that sense of community together, building those relationships is really our path forward for the next 5 years to really make it easy, especially for the independent productions, because we rely so heavily on the independents. That's what our current tax incentive program supports. And that's what we see a lot of, and that's what puts our locals to work.
That's great. So a lot of the headlines is for the studios, obviously, but here us in the industry, we're saying indie, let's keep it going, let's keep the train moving.
And support them.
Support indie movies and Indie Film Factory, by the way. Heading on down the list here, Danette, what are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about careers in film and production?
I think one of them that I see is that you need a film degree or some level of technical expertise or education. There's a paradox though. So the film industry is probably the easiest to enter, but one of the most difficult to sustain. To Yadi's point earlier, it doesn't care about your mistakes that you've made in the past or if you're incarcerated or not. It doesn't care about that. It will take everybody from every socioeconomic background, and you can start from the ground up. There's opportunity for advancement to become a union paid crew member with union benefits. It's been democratized with look at all you guys pointing your cameras at me right now. You're making content right now in your hand. So that has changed, I think, the landscape of what independent filmmakers are able to do. But yeah, so I think the answer is there's a low barrier to entry. Anybody can join the film industry.
Great answer. That's a great answer.
Just to add to that as well, when you create media and film, you source creativity. So like a lot of the other businesses and industries here in Nevada, they're going to be mining, they're going to be doing stuff for government, tourism. We're relying on people coming to the strip, coming to the city. That's sourcing outside revenue, that's sourcing materials from the earth, but with creativity, you're sourcing your mind. So there's just the grit to actually do it, all right? Now, moving on, workforce development, if we could talk to the panel on this one. When we talk about workforce development, what skills do you believe are the most important for young people entering today's film workforce?
So I'll start because I want to kind of talk about the locally, right? So I know we all want the big movies to come. We all want those to come. But I'll tell you, this is what happened to me. I was shooting a movie in New Mexico, and it was at the same time, I think it was Sicario and either Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad. It was all happening at the same time. So we did not have enough crew. I called the locals. They're like, we don't have enough to send you. So I was up there in the freaking mountains of the Jemez Pueblo and all that stuff. So they're like, we have nobody. So what did I have to do? I had to call in people from LA and bring them in. How do we avoid that here in Vegas? We have to have a training, workforce development. There's got to be a training system and you train with indie movies, right? That's what you're getting on set. That's what you're moving. So we've got to have the indie side because they complement and they prepare. So when the big movies come in, the Con Airs and all, when they come in, you have a workforce here that can fill those roles. You're organized here to fill those roles because I'm in there. I'm in LA, and I know that if they're wanting to shoot over here, if they don't have the workforce here, they're going to just bring everybody from LA, which is great for LA and all my LA homies that are listening. I'm down with you guys. But what you want to do is how do you prepare here? So part of workforce development has got to be training, a system of training that can prepare, and you'll do it with the indie side to get the call sheets in, do all that kind of stuff. And then when the studios are ready to come back, just to shoot a movie, just to persona and come and do something here. I would love to see another Chicano, like a Dan Tanner. Anybody remember Dan Tanner? I was seeing Chicano one, or like The Hangover, all that, right? Anyways, you could do it, when those things come here, they will, because it's such an amazing city and state. If there's a pool of crew that qualify, they're just going to come and they can just send their keys, which normally happens, right? So that's what I'm saying. There's got to be some kind of systematic training that's going to prep everybody for those big projects.
So with that said, it's also a catch-22 in this aspect, because I've done it on all sides. Yes, anyone can get in, but with that said, you can record anything, but if you don't do quality, you're not going to last in this business, because it is so saturated that if you don't get someone in the first 6 seconds, it's like, and then they'll take it personal. And what Johnny is saying about training, you have to be willing to. Everybody I know is not in here, I'm just saying generalizing. Everybody wants to be famous and things like, I just want to be on TV, and they don't know or see that some of the people, even when you see them when they're famous, an overnight success took 15 years. And then unless you are born into this business and your mom and your daddy are big producers that put you, not even a famous actor can get you in. They can get you in as an extra. You can be, I've seen people that got in with one chance and you never saw them again. And filmmakers will be like, who did they know got them in there? Because we know they don't know what they're doing. And sometimes you want it so fast that if you audition, you're as good as your last audition. And everybody knows that person's not trained. So you can get training with these programs, you can get them in community college, but really get prepared so that when you're giving the chance, just like every actor, or you can make a bad 5-minute short, but you can always do another one and another one and another one, Just keep getting better at it so that when you're giving the chance, That's why sometimes these crews hire everybody and bring them here, because they know by working with them that these people know what they're doing and they're gonna execute it, because time is money. So whether you have to bartend, whether you have to waitress, whether you have to do anything, just to get a chance to be on a set sometimes as a PA, you're getting the experience watching. Everybody's like, well, I don't wanna work as a PA. Well, guess what? If you're not trained in other things, go in there if you're able to be a PA. Be respectful. Don't bother the producer or the director. Those people are holding 20,000 hats. And I know everybody's anxious to be like, hey, tell me how to do this or tell me how to do that. Learn to just listen and watch, because you learn so much. And put in the work so that when you're given the opportunity, you're gonna kill it, you know?
I want to add real quick to that. So, you know, besides learn other things, learn about the lighting, learn about sound, because if you can't do this over here, you can go over here. You do what I'm saying? Like, especially if you're shorthanded here, yeah, I can do that, I can do this, I can do that. Do a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? And then, as far as training goes, this I'm gonna make acting a little easy. Your life is your training. Life is your training. All you gotta do is put your part of your life into the writer's words, and there you go. You'll be a pretty good actor.
But with that said, you do have to know, when you're on set. So let's say you're a PA that wants to be an actor, watch the actors. Because it's not just about life, you have to learn how to make something on a script look real when you're doing it with another actor. So a lot of it is listening. You gotta know where you gotta stand, you gotta know your lighting, what camera, if it's a close-up, and all these things you can learn by just sacrificing and being a PA, an extra. It doesn't mean when you're an extra that you're just there to be an extra and then I'm not important. Stop trying to show off and like, yeah, I'm on the camera, because that's not what's gonna get you anywhere. It's just like, be polite, listen, watch, and absorb. And any moment that you get to be on a set, it's a moment for you to get a free class on everything and anything, because if you take it, I know when I only had like a one-liner and I had to be there all day because you have to wait until your scene comes up, I would absorb everything. What is the director doing? Why is that actor doing that? And I literally absorbed it because I really love the craft. And like when my husband says, yes, learn, not one film cannot hire 20 people. So the more that you learn, you have more freedom to just say, I can do lighting, I can do sound, I can do, so if you can learn it, why not, It's only gonna benefit you in the future.
I'm just gonna build upon the theme of your life is your training, and I'm gonna go really granular here. I'm not even talking about technical skills. I'm talking about basic communication skills. Learn how to send an email. Learn how to pick up the phone and make a phone call. You cannot rely on texting people when you're looking for locations or you're pitching a deck or you're trying to find a sponsor, right? You need to know how to communicate. And once you streamline that, that is the building block of what we're talking about with all these independent filmmakers that have more than one hat. The 16 people had to know how to do accounting and how to do this and how to do marketing and publicity. But if you can start with articulating clearly what you want to your team, to the client. I'll give you an example. I just got off a project where we had an agency, we had a production company, we had a local production company, and then we had the talent. So we were all looking for what we thought was what the client wanted or what the directive, the creative was calling for a hallway. We spent 6 days and countless hours looking for this location, only to find out 7 days later that the hallway they wanted it to be white and not black. So that would have been helpful information for all of us to have up front. And so you have many players a lot of the time, and it's a lot of, it's a team sport. So go back to communication, just at a basic level, know how to communicate.
And she's telling the truth, because I had a little problem that we had to transform into a different format for a theater. And I was going back and forth because as a producer and a director, you're trying to solve problems. And the person that I was working with could have just said the same thing, something so simple that we were there stuck for a month.
Oh.
And I was just like, I've been telling you this for a whole month and you're my friend and you didn't give us that option. Well, I knew about it, but I didn't know if it might work. And I was like, has it worked before? And they're like, yeah. And we fixed it in one day, but wasted a month after everything was said and done, just to transform to another format to use it for a theater. So yes, 100%.
Being thorough, being professional, especially to the youth groups in the back, being thorough, being professional, being resilient.
I just want to add one thing on that.
Resourceful.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things about this industry is how you can take any person, and you can find a job for them in this industry, because it takes so many different types of skill sets to produce anything. There are so many different departments that if you only know the surface level of this industry, you think, oh, I know what a producer and a director are, I know what the cast members are, but you don't know what a gaffer is or a grip is, or all of these so many different departments that are involved in making a film or a TV show or any type of production, that as long as you come in with an attitude of the listening is so important. Just come in as a student saying, I'm here to learn, getting those basic skill sets from trainings in terms of how a set operates is really the only thing you need to start as a PA. And then as a PA, there aren't many industries where you basically have, paid on-set training, but that's kind of what a production assistant is, where you can come on, you get paid to help, and then you get to see all of the different departments and you say, I'm gonna gravitate towards camera department because I really love photography and I wanna know how the camera works and I wanna know what these ACs are doing, or I love building things. I love robotics and I'm gonna be a prop maker. There are so many different things that you can do, that all you need to do to get started in what can be a very profitable living. You can earn six figures as a union member working in this industry. You just need to be able to listen and learn and come determined, because that good attitude will get you so much further than I think in any other industry.
I gotta say a story. Saying that is really beautiful what you said right there. This is just a little story when I first started. You did. I gotta tell it though, because and always treat everybody from the top to the bottom the same. You dig what I'm saying? I remember my first gig I ever did, it was 92, a show called Renegade. And the first show, I had a big old trailer, it was beautiful. I was smoking my cigarette on the stoop. And there was a Chicano guy came up to me and goes, hey bro, how'd you do it, bro? Just trying to learn how I got here, where I was at. It was my first job, my first SAG job. And so I go, bro, I did theater, I did comedy. I'm talking to this kid, right? And then one of the guys that was guest starring with me, he comes, he goes, hey, let's take a walk, bro. So I got up, excused myself, I took a walk, he goes, hey bro, the extra's trying to talk to us. But I didn't understand that because I'm from the theater. See, we're an ensemble in the theater. You could be a tree, we're part of the ensemble. Yeah. I didn't know there was a hierarchy, you dig? Anyway, so I'm trying to understand this. I get excited, you know? Preach. I speak a lot, so I'm usually walking. Anyway, okay, so, I forgot what I was going to say.
You're taking a walk.
Oh yes, I started walking, right? I started walking, and then, so then, I'm trying to take in what this guy told me, right? But then the star of the show walks in, and he comes in, and the lady that's sweeping the trailers is there, and he goes, come here, let me help you. She goes over and hugs the star of the show. He goes over there, bends down, and helps her with the dustpan. And I'm thinking, this guy's telling me I can't touch your extras, but I got the star of the show hugging the lady that's cleaning the trailer. I go, I want to be that guy. Yeah. So be that guy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So with that said, also be respectful. I will tell you, I on my show I went in, we just got picked up for a 7th season. But when I went in, I went for 2 episodes. I was super respectful, nice to everybody and anybody. I don't care, like what he says, what position. You don't know if that grip is writing scripts and tomorrow he's gonna be your boss. Mm-hmm. So you better, you don't do it just because you're trying to get something. Do it because you're a good human. And in that same aspect, I went from 2 episodes to now I'm one of the regulars on the show. So, but with that said, I also had an extra, and I won't treat, if you're an extra and I see that you're trying to get yourself on the camera, I will be like, listen, don't worry about that camera. This camera's picking you up too. So even when it's not even your role, you don't have a lot of lines or no lines, as long as you listen and you do still work, the director might even put you in little pieces so that you can be seen more. But be mindful and respectful, because I've had also an extra. I needed to come in through a scene and do my lines, and I had an extra once she wouldn't move. And I'm a person, I don't want to get her in trouble, and I'm just like, okay, but I gotta go through her to do my lines. And the director's like, Yadi, why are you not moving? And I said, I don't know what's happening, but let's try it again. I have to nicely, I need to go through there. And she was getting her moment. It was a featured extra, and she's like, figure it out, but I'm not moving. But she didn't know that I'm the lead actress, because I'm not here like, oh, I'm this, I'm that. So we did it 3 times because I wanted to see she was going to be the better person. Mind you, that person was walked out of the, I said, I can't go through, I don't know why she's not moving. And she didn't make it. And I'm the kind of person, I'll try to even help you, to try to get you aligned. Because she's a nice person and she really wants it, because my show, they really now are very, I've made good friendships in there too. And in any aspect, whether you're the actor, be humble, but whether now you went from an extra to a feature extra or a 1 liner or 2, keep that humbleness, because they can go both ways. Just be cool, nice, and listen, and you'll learn.
And even when you're not on, be
You're
on.
still on.
Yeah.
Always be on, man.
So-
It's just 'cause the director's watching everything. He'll say, you know what? Put 1 on that person just for the reaction.
I've seen it happen
Always be
many
on. I've seen
times.
it, yeah, a lot of times. Always be on.
And stop trying to outshadow the lead actor. Because I've seen so many extras like, I want to be on the front and I want the camera. But when they're doing a scene and your eyes are like, you're ruining a scene.
And you know,
So
I've
just
seen
be
it, and
still.
I've been on some big projects, man, where the director will say, because they're watching. you get it?
Yes.
And they'll be like, sir, can you go this way and this way? All of a sudden they're behind a pillar. We can't see them anymore because nobody wants to see them. You get what I'm saying? Just be.
I remember I had a small role in Waist Deep, long time ago, and I had 5 lines. And one of the extras, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do your lines." Sure. Go ahead. And when she did that, the director was like, "What is going on here? Why are you here?" I tried to be nice. I wasn't going to tell her anything unless she wants to take my lines. I would do them. She did it in a bully way. I'm going to take these lines from you. And I'm like, okay. And once again, I don't think once you give a bad impression, big directors, believe me, nobody forgets your face. They all know each other. You know, in my movie, this guy, don't hire them no more. So just nothing is given. Work hard for it.
To add to that, so to everybody, especially with the youth groups, like I was telling you in the hallway, being professional, being polite, that will get you so far, especially in this industry. And what we're doing with Las Vegas Media and Film Institute is we want to be the person and the organization that fills the void of having qualified PAs. Because as we just heard, PAs is the entryway to get into the industry. So if we're able to take community members, we're able to take youth groups and show them the ropes, take them and be like, this is what it's like being on set. This is what they do. This is what they do over here. That's how you get experience. That's how you get exposure. And it's like having a paid job, paid training. So like Kim said. So thank you very much for that, you guys. We're gonna move on for the next question. Talking to Kim and Danette. What does Nevada need to do to better prepare local residents for careers in media and film?
I think you're doing it right now, honestly. It's, like I said, you can enter a set. There's certain set protocol that you have to understand in order to be successful if you're just starting out. And it's programs like what Las Vegas Film and Media Institute offers in terms of that training that sets people up for success. And it's It's the access also. You know, it brought up if you have a relative who is in the industry, you know, I'm sure we've all experienced those kinds of people that already have that door open for them. But if you don't realize that there's even a door that could be opened for you, that's also why we're doing community events like this. It's to promote the industry as it's a fun industry to work in. Advanced manufacturing is one of the kind of objectives of the state of Nevada right now in terms of let's invest in these jobs because they're good jobs. I'm like, okay, yes, advanced manufacturing is technically a great job, but you need a college education to get into it. And if you can't afford college, then you can't be in advanced manufacturing. That's not true for this industry. You can take anyone and say, okay, here's the skills that you need to know in order to get started. And then the rest is just being present on set, learning like they've said, and deciding, okay, which path am I going to take? And I think that's exactly what needs to be done in terms of making sure that this industry is accessible to all Las Vegans and Nevadans. Are these types of trainings, these types of community events that really show what the industry is and how you can get into it.
At the beginning, you know, Johnny spoke about opportunity. And, you know, we're talking about workforce development, but if there's no work, we can't develop the workforce. So I guess my call to action would be, if you're a business owner, if you're a politician, if you're a company and you need a corporate video, hire local. Create the jobs. You're working against us. When you bring an agency in from out of state to promote the state, a tourism bureau, for example, I'm not going to name names, but I think I might have just did. It could be more than one destination marketing company. They're all statewide. We have, you know, agencies that know nothing about this community or living here or working here, but we have people right here, all on this banner, all these logos all over this room. These are jobs. So when you don't hire local, you take the job away from somebody and give it to somebody who doesn't live here. That's number one. Number two, for the crew, you want the job. Yes, I love that this is about grit. It's about hustle. It's about how you show up. It takes years to build your reputation and seconds to destroy it. So Nevada needs to show up. You need to be professional. You need to be on time. You need to hustle. You need to work hard. You need to dispel the myth that Nevada has no crew and Nevada has no talent. That's number two. That is a myth. We know it's not the case, right? And three, if you're a location and you're approached to, you know, by a filmmaker to be considered as, you know, part of their script, they want to shoot your location, don't be so quick to say no. We work all day long in an industry of no, and it is impossible. Everybody has to start somewhere. Give somebody a chance. Let them pitch the project to you. Of course, you can say no, and we understand that your first business is, you know, a police department or a church or whatever it is. We know that, but in our industry, our first job is the content creation. So we're trying to help these people tell their stories. So don't be so quick to say no to somebody when you're approached. So those are my three things I think that, you know, what Nevada needs to consider. I could talk all day about this topic, but I think the short answer is those are the things that I would focus on right now as a community.
Thank you, Danette. Awesome. So to be mindful of time, and I know we got started a little bit late, I'm just gonna skip through a couple of questions, and we're gonna talk about the building trades and unions now, who were very, very advocate about having movie studios here in Las Vegas. So this question goes out to the entire panel. We don't have to have everybody answer, but if you'd like, please grab the mic. So we often talk about actors and filmmakers, but major productions also rely on electricians, carpenters, riggers, drivers, safety personnel, and many other skilled trades. How important are labor partnerships and workforce infrastructure to a healthy film industry?
I think that's such an important part of the conversation that honestly got missed with the studio conversation is, you know, people look at this as, oh, it's a Hollywood handout. Why are we giving millions to companies that already have millions? And it's because that's not where the benefit lies. This room is full of crew members who work what we call below the line. These are the names that you see at the end of the credits of every production, and think about, you know, the big studio films where literally it goes on for 10 minutes because that's how many people were paid to help make this production, and that's where the benefit lies. This room is full of people who make their living by working in production in Las Vegas day by day. I used to do it before I worked at the film office. I was a freelancer, just like some of the people here, and that's how I made my living, was working on productions as a gig worker. And in terms of economic development, we often talk about gig work as not a good job. You know, the mantra at GoEd is good jobs today, better jobs tomorrow, and there's this misconception that a gig job or a temporary job is inherently a bad job, and that's simply not true, because if we have a healthy ecosystem where films can come in, find their crew members, and the crew members can just go from one job to the next because we have that healthy pipeline going, that is a great living. And to my point earlier, it's a fun living. If you have ever worked on something, like when you think back to your first credits, and you go and you see it in the theater, and you're with your fellow filmmaker, you know, crew members who are on it too, and you're like, oh, that's my name, and you clap. There is nothing more exciting in terms of, you know, job satisfaction than to see your name in that screen and say, I did that. I helped make that thing that now anybody can go see, and it's a very exciting thing. I'm getting very passionate.
That's great. And it's true. First time I saw my name on the credits, I'm like, oh, cool. I want to say this: when growing up, I was raised in San Jose, migrant background, migrant workers and cannery workers, and all that. So my mom, single mom, 5 kids, we had a certain, you know, really tough standard of living until one day she sat me and my older brother down and said, hey, I've got an opportunity to drive the bus. I can get a job driving the county transit, the city bus system. And she goes, I just need you guys to help me with the little kids, right? My younger brother and sisters. And so, of course, we said, yeah, you know, whatever. At the time, I think I was like 10, so I didn't know what she was saying, right? But well, I do know this. When she became a Teamster, everything changed. Everything was different. We didn't have the lady knocking at the door asking for her mortgage payment anymore, which at the time was $128 in San Jose. Think about that, right? So we didn't have well, actually no more government cheese, but we had the real cheese. No more food stamps, but we had, you know, she had money and she took care of it. So everything changed when she became a Teamster. I'm big on benefits for the unions provide and the protections and all that stuff. So going back to what I see, and I could be wrong, guys, please don't listen to me. But what I see is what I don't want to happen, and what we need to prepare for is that when those movies, they're gonna come, we gotta have the workforce here. And even though I still live over there, but here, this is us, LVMFI, this is us. We gotta have the workforce here, so we have to really focus on making a plan to make sure we have the rosters ready. And that's going to be a collective thing. We all, that you do in LVMFI, we're ready to jump in there and help train, not just PAs, grips, all that. We do. That's what I do over there. In LA, I'll train our people from the community. If they're from the barrio, I tell them, from the barrio to the boulevard, Hollywood Boulevard, I'll be a bridge. Chicano Hollywood will be a bridge to get you there. It's going to be your work ethic and your character that's going to keep you growing, right? I say that all the time. Same thing here. From the strip to, I can't think of it. Right, the studio, yeah, it's cool. From the strip to the studio, it's gonna, you know, we could be a bridge together to help getting people, all these young kids back here. And I'm big on helping the young kids. I'm also big on helping, you know, our age, my age. You know, I'm 59, and there's people like us that we, you know, my first career was I was a pastor for 23 years. I was a firefighter too for 6 years. I had a construction company, and then 18 years ago I got into this. So there's a lot of guys, girls, ladies right now that, you know, Gen Xers that we had to raise their families, we had to work, we had to pay the bills. Now the kids are gone. So I'm big on training them, and they have a lot of work-life experience. A lot of life experience to bring to the table as writers, producers, project managers, you know, and that's how I learned. I had the skills, I just had to learn the language, you know. So my point is, going back to the trades and the unions, if we don't have a systematic training system here, they're gonna come in buses from over there. They're gonna get driver's licenses here. They're gonna, and I'm down for no more camera, right? I'm down for my gente over there. But this is Vegas, and Vegas has to, Vegas has to provide jobs for Vegas, and not just transplants. And I'm down for transplant. I might be one. You never know. There's a lot of housing around now, but that's my point on that. So I'm very big on that. Let's get a system going. Indie producers. If you're a producer now, I'll end it with this, Rob. I know I'm pressing on time here. Jump into branded verticals if you can. That's really going to explode. I just did one for Procter & Gamble or Albertsons, 20 episodes, real cheesy. I know it's great, guys. Albertsons product is, but it was great. They just did a Wall Street Journal article on it today. I got my clients from Miami are the ones that got me in the production side of it. They're calling me up, blowing me up, saying, hey, look at Wall Street Journal just, talked about Bria Media and Albertsons and Procter & Gamble. And that has resulted in phone calls from Coca-Cola, from Modelo, from others, hitting them up like, hey, we want to do that. So connect with brands, and just say, hey, we'll do 20 micro episodes. Have them pay for it. You produce it, you get to work. And it's also workforce development. You train people, train the young kids, train the old people, and you're going to start building that ecosystem so that when, the big ones come in, there's a workforce here that's trained. That's the big key. They are trained, and they don't have to bring the buses full from over there.
To add to that, Johnny. Oh, looks like my mic might have went out. Oh, here we go. 1 second. To add to that, Johnny, I know that you said your household family changed when became Teamsters.
Yeah.
So my father, who raised me, he was CWA, communication workers, and we have Arcor in the building, the union sponsored printing company, and we've had several discussions with Latino as well. And what I'm getting at is Las Vegas is set up to have a workforce when there's unions. So for tourism and everything on the Strip, there is unions for that. There's organizations that support the workers for that. Now, if we talk about stuff off of the Strip and we're talking about the film community, we're talking about the film economy, is there unions, are there affiliations to keep that alive off of the Strip? That's where we go quiet, right? So everything is supplied to be on the Strip, but if we're talking about outside of the Strip, where's the support for that? That's what we're talking about right now. So to just roll from that, now we're gonna go to a community question against the panel, then we'll open it up to Q&A, so if anybody has questions for the panel, we can pass off the mic. Let's see, entire panel question. Why should the average Las Vegas resident care about growing Nevada's film and creative economy?
I'll get that started. This is my favorite question. And that's because I don't think that the average person who just consumes film and TV and all the other different types of content out there really understands all of the work that goes behind creating it. And that's where we see the value in the jobs. This industry, although you may know all of the names of the studios, this industry at its heart is a supporter of small businesses because there are so many different types of vendors that are needed in order to make a production. And most of those vendors are small business owners. And that was the idea behind the tax incentive here in Nevada in the first place, is we have these small businesses that serve this industry, and as the entertainment capital of the world, why don't we have a bigger piece of that industry? And really that's what the benefit is. It's when a production comes to town, they basically dump money into the wallets of people that they hire as crew members, into the small businesses where they need to rent lights and cameras, or the businesses where they need to buy props and wardrobe, and all of the different pieces that make a production are the pieces that benefit from when it comes to town. It's not just a studio thing. It's not just, I know the names of these A-list talent and they're the ones who benefit. Sure, they get paid a lot of money, but it's also supporting so many different jobs throughout our local economy.
Yeah, that's what I added on. Great catering here. Applause for our catering.
Big shout out to HRP Pro and Chef Mark Strauss there in the blue shirt. Thank you, Chef, for this wonderful spread that we have here.
And this is how the ecosystem works. When you got a project, now you have a caterer, and that's how it works. So that has to go with everything. There's the other sponsors here too that have
Saratoga Water, thank you so much. And Primo Brands.
All the water, and then you have the different vendors, the raza. Dude, I wear that t-shirt all the time. So you know, okay? And my tan shorts and the blue t-shirt that I have, Zapata, yeah. So you have to build that ecosystem, you have to do it together. That's the only way it works. Within our community in LA, I'm very big on hiring ourselves. So we have to create that same culture here. Connect immediately with everybody here and then hire ourselves. And always work together, like Yadi was saying, work together, support each other, give a good deal, and let's build that ecosystem. That's gonna feed the training that's gonna go into build a union trades and skills so that when the big movies come, that's why we all wanna be on the big movies. So, but we just gotta create that ecosystem, and it starts with this room right here. Plug it in with any training that LVMFI puts together, any options, anything like that. We can hub together and just really build this ecosystem. So that's gotta be the key from boots on the ground, you know, from what takes that term? Ground something?
From the ground up?
From the ground up. Grassroots. I
There
had something with the herb. Anyway, grassroots, right? So building from a grassroots level, locking arms today with everybody here, hiring each other, contracting each other, working with companies to do, you know, even if it's a small project, start building it up. It's gonna take a little bit, you know, it's gonna take time, but it doesn't have to take that much time. I'm gonna tell you this, with the merger that's happening in Hollywood right now, you know, between Paramount and MGM and all that, we're over there expecting another big round of layoffs. And you know, on the ground, not the grassroots, but on the ground, when I'm hearing so many people are just diving out, they're gonna move. LA's tough to live in. They're gonna move, and guess where they're gonna move? Here, which we welcome them here. I'm so good, but you know, but my point is, it's possible that your ranks are going to grow here, but it's going to be from LA people. And I'm like, Vegas first, because we're here in Vegas. So let's build Vegas up. Other people can come. They're brothers and sisters. They're in the film industry. But if we don't get ahead of it, it's like what I told people with the Chicano community. I said, I'm not trying to compete with anybody. I just want to get to where we should be because we were here first. So I'm telling this about Las Vegas. We're not trying to compete with anyone else in the film industry outside of Nevada. But Las Vegas has to get to where it should because this is your city. But that's going to take a concerted effort that we do it together. But I think there's a lot of potential. So, you know, we're down with it. I can never say it, man. LVMFI. We're down with it. So that's part of the ecosystem.
And it's a lot of work. But with anybody also, whether you're taking the programs here, I know our son, in the Thanksgiving, our son said, I was interested in this. I said, go to community college. And he has the 4.0 full, he could have gone to UCLA. That he didn't want to. He's just like, I like our small community where we're at in Palmdale. And he's been there now a year and a half. And I said, nothing's gonna be given to you, learn everything. And he has. He, right now, produced a 10-minute short. He started with 2 minutes, a 5-minute, 2 5-minutes, and he graduated, this semester, the film got a 98.
Nice.
But when he came to Dad's like, yeah, don't come at me until you learn something.
He's learning
I mean,
everything. I got to learn everything.
And this is us, we said, try it and see if you like it. You know? And he started the same way as everybody else. He started trying out for a play. He didn't get it. Came home crying. I said, you weren't prepared. When they give you, I want you guys to be proactive. So when they give you, let's say, this is a monologue, or they tell you, look at a monologue, we're going to read you on Friday. I don't care what you have going on. If you really want it, that's going to make a difference between you and someone else. I told my son, you should have got that monologue the minute that they said you need a monologue. You should have had it that day practicing so that you're prepared to deliver it ASAP. He had the monologue a day before the audition. That's why he didn't get it. And my son has done the same thing from grip, lighting, he's learned sound. These kids are working with right cameras. Just because he was Emilio Rivera's son, you didn't go tell her to still, he's doing sound. And it took him, like I said, a year and a half before he was able to produce the first short, because they have to write it, they have to edit it, they have to produce it, they have to deliver the whole project between 6 people. And they all have to take turns and who writes and who directs, and they have to respect and do it like a team. And they all take turns doing something, and when they would come to me and Emilio, we would be like, yeah, you guys are doing this good, but if you want to be different than other people, you gotta want it as much as you're breathing. You gotta put in 14. My son goes to school at 7 in the morning. He doesn't get home till 11:30, sometimes at night.
He's doing theater at the same time, that's why.
He's doing theater, but the same thing as Johnny's saying, they gotta look for their own locations. And they're in the city making phone calls. Can you lend us your restaurant? And we went and present it and present the project and get yourselves to even, so let's say Johnny, you're giving the programs and you guys, well, I couldn't make it to the program. Find a little group until you can make it to Johnny's program, and every week be proactive of something. One thing I must say as a professional, and I think every professional that at least I've known, have a to-do list is a game changer. Everything you need to get done, don't procrastinate it. This, every day cross it out. I, as a producer of this film, I haven't got paid in 4.5 years because I invested the money. And I've had like 7 titles on top of the ones that you just see there. And I was willing to, I mean, let me tell you something how I did my storyboard. I ended up going to Target, getting a school board, project board, and with Post-its I would write all of my scenes, timing them, and I would move them with Post-its. So that before I got to my editor, I already knew what I wanted and I can execute it because I was limited on money. So there's a will, there's a way, but you gotta put in the work. So just be proactive for everything that you want to get done when you can't get into these programs, but you have to multitask. You have to go to work. If you have 10 hours or 5 hours on the weekend, it makes a difference if you're not going out to hang out. Invest that time into what you're doing. And believe me, it takes time, but it will happen.
So I would like to just add to that, and then we're gonna open it up to Q&A. Why should the average Las Vegas resident care about growing Nevada's film and creative economy? And that was a perfect story because the next generation, the ones that we mentor, the ones that are here learning camera, the ones that are here being professionals, these are the ones that grew up with a cell phone and a camera in their hand. I did not. They are used to being camera people. They're used to just going with it, but they don't know the systems of the film and media industry. So that's on us to teach them that and to bring them in. So why should the average Las Vegas and Nevada resident care? Because your kids, your nephew, your niece. I get people coming up to me all the time, politicians, judges, executives, it doesn't matter. Oh, hey, I hear about what you're doing. My son is actually doing this in high school, or my niece is doing that. So that's why the average Las Vegas resident should care. So if we don't prepare now, then we're preparing them to fail in this industry.
Absolutely.
So opening it up to Q&A now. Does anybody have a question for the panel? Anybody?